Good evening. This is the Township of Grosse Ile Bridge Commission meeting of Wednesday, May 20th, 2026. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Would the secretary take the roll, please?
Certainly. Supervisor Porcerelli,
Here.
Chair Patrick Smith-Mauer.
Here.
Vice Chair McCartney,
Here.
and Commissioner Johnson,
I'm here.
and Township Engineer Sabat,
Here.
and Finance Director McLaughlin,
Here.
and Township Manager Thiel,
Here.
Bridge Manager Farrell. Here. We're all here.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda as submitted?
None.
I have one that we'll cover under discussion, just a very quick update of the status of the engineering drawings and what we're doing going forward. We won't get into detail, but I'll bring everybody up to date. With that addition, is I get an approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and supported, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Do we have any presentations tonight? Okay, being none, we move on to public comment. Is public comment limited to 3 minutes a person? Is there any public comment tonight? There being none, we will move on. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes?
Yes.
Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
What's approved and seconded? Any discussion on them?
Other
Okay,
than they're excellent, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, they're approved. We'll move on to financial reports. Teresa.
Okay, so we are in the first month of the new fiscal year, so this is the revenue and expenditure report for the 1 month ended April 30th. Keep in mind, this revenue and expenditure report is on a purely cash basis. It's all the money that's come in and all the expenses that came out. And I will discuss some of the changes that you'll ultimately see once the year-end close is completed. So some of the things I wanted to highlight are in the revenue, the transfer in of $668,000. That's from the debt fund for the sewer bonds and the judgment bond. We made the final payment on the judgment bond on April 1st, so once we finish that, that's just the cash that we've moved over so far. So that was, we had $668,000 of cash remaining, and so all of that amount was transferred to the toll bridge account.
So it's officially in our fund now, at
Yes.
700,000?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
That's the reason, I'm sorry, Teresa, just so we all know, that's the reason why we're levying 0.8 instead of 1.67?
Correct. That's why the property tax revenue for this year, this fiscal year only is about half of what it was the prior year.
And we'll levy that in December. Is that
Yes.
correct? Or
On December 1st, yes.
December? Okay,
Yep, it'd
thank
be
you.
on the winter tax bill.
Thank you.
Everything else on the revenue side is pretty consistent with what it's been from month to month in the first year as far as bridge cash fares and tag revenue and interest. On the expenditures, just a few things. Again, this is purely money that went out. So there was a stipend to the township supervisor that was actually paid in April. But that was for work that was done.
What stipend did I get?
What? What? Did you have a question? Or
No, I'm just confused. When you said a stipend to the supervisor.
yeah, yeah. So
Not me, him.
no, the township manager.
Yeah, you said
Yes,
supervisor.
that's
Oh,
right.
okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, 'cause
I'm
I'm just like,
sorry.
now I'm
Sorry. No,
confused.
it's not you.
You scared me.
No.
Yeah.
So, the board approved, an additional payment to the township manager for all the additional work that was done in the last fiscal year with the acquisition of the toll bridge and the business and just the day-to-day operations. It was paid out in April, but because it's for the work that was done last fiscal year, it's been accrued into March 31st of '26, and that will be reversed out to zero probably by the next report.
So this isn't gonna be a standing, GL code to look for in the future? Or this will stay?
It's a new ledger code because of that payment. But it will be, for this current fiscal year, in subsequent months, it will be zero because I've got the expense in 3/31/26. I just have to do a reversal, to zero this out so we're not duplicating, expense payments.
Well deserved.
Not a reoccurring expense. It won't be a reoccurring expense.
Yeah.
Oh, it won't be for next year either? Or it has to be voted each year?
I think the intent is just a one-time only.
Okay. And what about the supervisor?
He's next,
Yeah.
right before you forget it.
So all the employee insurance benefits, the health insurance, life, vision, and dental, that expense represents 2 months of payments because we made those payments are usually made a month ahead of time, but when I get to the end of the fiscal year, we have grace periods. No insurance is gonna get canceled, but the April payments are sent out on April 1st, and then usually two weeks later, we get the invoices for May, and then we get back on track of paying them during our normal cycle. So, like for the health insurance, the $3,112 represents 2 months. There is no expense this month for retirement, because in April, we actually had 3 pays during the year, and the last pay fell on April 30th. Typically, what I do for the employer retirement contribution is I do that calculation and reporting very close to, right after the final pay of the month. I had no more days left in April to do that, so there'll be 2 payments. Actually, there won't be 2 payments in May yet. So the expense for April it was paid at the beginning of May, so it'll be in May. Under the staffing contract, these payments were $68,000. That was what was actually paid. 62,000 of that was actually an expense for the prior year. So that's good. I actually just finished the accounts payable calculation for the township today. So if I reran this right before this meeting, that line item would only be about $6,000. Because most of that expense is actually for the prior fiscal year. the insurance and bonds of $455,000. Those are our annual premiums for April 1st of '26 to April 1st of '27 for our commercial property insurance and our excess liability insurance.
Is there any way to pause that while we're under construction?
I don't think we may get an adjustment later on, depending on when the construction starts and everything. But until it does,
Right.
yeah, we have to be fully insured, so, yeah.
I gotta imagine that some of our liability is related to business operations, and if business operations are not ongoing, we'll bring that up with our broker
Yeah.
and find
I
out.
mean, it's worth asking.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maintenance for computer software, that's the valet manager, and that's actually the expense for March, which will end up going away.
I noticed we have a new GL just in front of it, 934.1 to VC3. As far as, is that like an annual? Because I know they bill us some other ones. Maybe we can get to it in the invoices, but,
So 934.1 is valet manager. So-
no, I think the valet, oh, okay, so it's 934, sorry, 934. It's the one right before, it's 2112. It's a new GL code.
Right,
And it
so
looked like it was for VC3.
I have to look at what it was, but we didn't have an account. We had something that was maintenance, I believe it was VC3, but it was a maintenance item, and we actually didn't have an account for maintenance on the computers and things that are in the office, so we're still fine tuning the
Okay.
accounts just a little bit, so I added the account and we'll adjust the budget.
Right. I saw we added 4, but more's better,
Yep.
so.
The last two lines under the expenditures are the principal and interest payment that we made on April 1st.
I noticed we added another, just before that, 987 for the township app, that
Yep, that's
code red.
that's the code red, so, with the new, we get billed for that once a year. And there's an allocation done for various departments, because code red is actually used for any kind of notification. It can be an emergency, it cannot be, so it's allocated to different departments, so I hadn't adjusted for the toll bridge, so.
But it's part of the service, the toll bridge.
Yes.
So you apportioned it.
Yep,
That's what I thought. Thank you.
yep.
And the last two items on there, when do they reoccur?
We will have our next interest payment is October 1st, and the next principal payment, the principal payments are only annual, so the next principal payment will be April 1st of 2027.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
That's the 1.47 principal and interest for April 1st.
So on a cash basis, and because of those principal and interest payments, we had a loss for the month of $1,065,000, and this is on a cash basis. And this time, I did not start with the balance sheet, I started with this report. Because balance sheet's a little bit different, now that I've started doing the year-end close at March 31st of 2026. So the items that I highlighted are liabilities that have never been on the balance sheet before for the toll bridge. These are entries I only do once a year at the end of the year during the close. So the revenue and expenditure report shows the amount of interest that was paid on April 1st. However, at March 31st of '26, one of the things I'm required to do is to accrue the interest based on the number of days from the last payment, or in this case, the day that we receive the bond proceeds, until the year-end date. So that's most of that amount. So I had to record that as a liability at March 31st. Typically, what I do township-wide, because we only do the close at the end, full close at the end of the year, is that amount will stay there, because that way, when I make the adjustment for what it is in a year from now, there's not such a large swing in the expense. The accrued payroll, that's at March 31st of '26. That's the amount of payroll for the operations manager and her assistant from the last day that we had a payroll in March, for all the days from that payroll to March 31st.
But our bank account went up 10 grand, so we continue to have more cash in the bank.
Yeah, yeah.
So operating capital's good.
Yeah, well, and we also had that almost $700,000 from
Right.
the other fund too, so. And then the last item was the accrued sick pay, so another thing that I'm required to do at the end of the year is doing a calculation of what would we have to pay out in unused sick and vacation time if everyone left on the last day of the fiscal year, based on their leave banks. So that's what that amount is. And again, those will stay there the entire year, because that way, going from year to year, I can just typically record the change again, so people use the budget on a cash basis, so they don't have a huge swing.
And on the unamortized premium, I think you said this, but I want to repeat it, as far as, right now, we're at 506, but you're going to deprecate that by 17,000
Well,
for last
actually,
year?
it's not going to, until at March 31st of '26, because we didn't make an interest payment during the year. It will start during, there will be there'll be an adjustment at March 31st of '27.
So the bond premium that we've been showing for revenue all last year, the 16,836.
Yeah, I apologize, I overlooked that.
Okay.
that
It was my confusion,
part,
so
yeah.
thank you for,
Yeah, no, that's okay. So when I actually did complete a major portion of the accounts payable, which is what we've paid since March 31st, that actually applies to our prior year before March 31st of '26. So right now, that total is about $90,000, and if you look back at the things I pointed out that were actually for services from the prior year, those total over $80,000, so that's most of it are those two items, plus a variety of other things with utilities and phone bills and things like that.
Now, the fourth item from the bottom, 2025 end of $642,154.64. As you and I were discussing before the meeting, at the end of March, from the previous statement, that number was 1,675,007 or 701. And the difference is about $1 million. And can you explain again,
Sure.
for the benefit of everybody, why that number changed?
Sure. So the $1,600,000 that we saw a month ago on the March 31st balance sheet, for our last fiscal year, that was before I did quite a bit of things I've done since then regarding the close. So that number is going to be fluid and change until our year end is for March 31st of '26 is going to close, based on things I have to record at that date. So now it's $642,000. The biggest reason for that are the three things that I highlighted under the liabilities. Those are expensed at 3/31/26, so that's why the fund balance is reduced at this point. So it will probably still reduce some. The deferred revenue for the bridge passes and the customer deposits, those are reconciled to the report we get out of the computer software, so those aren't going to change. So, it will already change by $90,000 because I just recorded $90,000 of expenses and payables at March 31st of '26. So it's still moving once I present the final March 31st, '26 financials, then it won't change anymore. But this is still a work in process for the next few weeks. Maybe or until next month, until the auditors are done too.
Any other questions? No. Thank you very much.
I know this is the first year of the bridge ownership, first year we're going through an audit. Looks really good. Any
Yep.
concerns, comments?
Well, I actually have a phone call tomorrow with our auditors, or a Zoom meeting, to do the planning, and they know that the bridge operations were new for the 25-26 fiscal year, so that's gonna be one of their areas of the main focus. We're gonna discuss some other, various things so that they can determine where the greatest risks are, and, they wanna make sure the controls are in the right place and at the right level. And I have no concern whatsoever about the toll bridge because of more of what Maureen does, keeping track of the cash and the credit card payments and the checks and balances that she does on a daily basis. So I'll have a little, there are some things that they will do that they won't tell me ahead of time. And some that I'll know. So that's how the audit's done.
So if we do receive any comments, they'll be recorded, they'll be reported out to the commission.
There'll be a report to the Board of Trustees.
Okay.
And if there's anything related to the toll bridge, that will also be shared with you. And then once I have the audit reports, they'll also be put on our website as well. And they may or may not wish to speak to one of the members of the commission. I don't know. So, any other questions?
Thank you very much. Appreciate your work.
Thank you, Teresa.
Okay, moving on to action items. We have one item on here. It's a recommendation for approval of a Bobcat UW 56. Who's going to present that?
Hello. Is this on? There we go.
Thank you, Maureen.
You're welcome. So we have the two Bobcats. If you look at the agenda item in the reports, the first page tells you which two. We have a number 1, number 2. The 2018, that is the one that just went down.
Should we put
This weekend?
that on the overhead so that people at home can see it as far as on the,
I'm not sure how to do that. You want this on? What do I do?
So we do, so like I turned that on, so then we just, looks like we already clicked it over, but you usually just click that and put it to output, and then I'll show that.
Okay. That actual Bobcat was stalled on the bridge this past Saturday, which I had to get it towed off. I did contact Carlton Equipment, and they are going to be coming out and doing a PM on both Bobcats to make sure that things are all set, and just check anything that we are currently having issues with and trying to figure out why that Bobcat stalled. We did have the battery taken out, checked. The battery is fine. It could be the alternator possibly. We're not sure at this point. So that is one of the reasons that we are requesting to purchase a new Bobcat, for the fact that we do not have a reliable one that we can count on where it won't have problems. The Bobcat, that Bobcat number 1 is from 2018. And then unfortunately, the Bobcat number 2 is actually a little bit of a newer Bobcat from 2020, but we seem to have more difficulty with that one. So I know we will have to look at both Bobcats and determine which would be the best one for us to hold on to once we receive a new Bobcat. So there is, Derek actually pulled up one that we are being interested in, and I'm sure you guys have already had a conversation about this, it looks like possibly, from how I'm reading, okay, the paperwork. And, you know, it would be good in the situation for when, you know, if that Wayne County Bridge does go down, by escorting people, making sure, you know, larger vehicles, higher classes are going very slow over across that bridge, that we had a reliable one and we didn't cause any issues with traffic flow.
So I mentioned to Derek, I think this is a genius, proactive idea. I mean, yourself and Derek have made full access to the bridge, right, for all the commissioners. I've rode in both Bobcats. It was really apparent to me that they're well used. And after this last winter, I looked at them and how much they were working. So I think this was, whoever came up, very good idea. Let's invest now before, because we have to have reliable equipment. So I thought it was a good idea. And I thought the price was kind of amazing too. So
Yeah. So, and.
amazing in a good way.
And we do have attachments that, you know, are fairly new. I had put that into all the paperwork showing you what we had, besides the buckets. I did not have any paperwork on that, but that all is fairly new. We don't seem to have any problems with attachments at this point. So I think with the new Bobcat, and that is supposed to be universal attachment, so it should fit all models. So I think it's a good idea to, you know, eliminate any possible issues down the road. That. Any questions?
These don't have to be street licensed or license plated, do they?
No.
You have the SMV symbol
Well-
on it, that's all
Well,
we need.
actually, would they? I know they did not with the previous owner because that was personal property, so that is a good question.
You mean
Would
private
we-
property though?
or- yeah.
You mean private property?
Yeah.
That's a great question. I don't,
So-
I'll have to check with the police department on that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good question.
Because getting a UTV street legal means the VIN changes, it becomes a truck. I looked into it for mine and it was, you have to have turn signals, horns, parking brake,
Yeah.
on and on and on, and then then you put the plate on it.
Yeah, and I think these vehicles, and Joe probably has.
The right tires.
So you came in at
Good
the right
answer.
time.
I'm sorry,
But-
I forgot the.
I think the vehicles do have everything that would be necessary to make these street legal. So they do have turn signals, they have brake lights, they have a glass windshield, they have windshield wipers. You know, so I think that they probably would meet that criteria. Joe, would you know, would the Bobcats that operate on the bridge be required to be, you know, street
Licensed?
legal and licensed? I don't know if they are or not. You know, with the bridge
Well-
being private property, it probably wasn't
Is
necessary.
private property to the east all the way to Bridge Road? To the pump house?
No. The private property, the public, well, it's public
Well-
property now, because the township owns
Right.
it.
No, that's still
Well,
our private property.
Right at the entrance, like when you go, east, when you
East.
pass that, before you pass the pump house, it becomes county road.
Right.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Well, I guess the answer is yes, but there are some provisions, just as there are on golf courses, where you can drive on a street with a golf cart that has no business being on the road, and that's legal, or when you cross it with a snowmobile. The question is, if we're just going down the road and using it to make a circle and you're coming back, you know, a U-turn, is that the same in the law? I would say you don't need, now, when you're going towards Bridge Road, how far did you ever have to drive those? You don't, do you? It's only The other
Well,
way.
Bridge,
They
depending
go all
on
the
the
way,
level.
they go all the way to Meridian and.
No, I meant the other way, Riverview side.
Oh, Riverside,
Bridge
well,
Road,
they do
Jeff.
go into our parking lot, so they are on county, you know,
Yeah.
that's not a straight cross line.
Right.
So it's kind of
Right.
angled off. So they do turn into the parking lot depending on traffic. If they're coming back, it's easier sometimes to turn around to get back to
Regardless
the
if it's
storage
county or
area.
township, it's still public
Is there
public
something to be
road.
said for being a utility vehicle, for example?
I'm
we-
just asking a
We
question.
drive the backhoe down the road and that's not.
But that's got
required
the
to be
SMV
completed.
symbol on it
Right,
that
and
says
maybe
below
and you guys have
25.
those on the back of the Bobcats, don't you? It's got the slow-moving
Yeah,
vehicle.
they do.
I believe so, but I would want to double check
They do.
to
The
make sure.
triangles.
Yeah,
Yep,
the
they do.
triangle.
Yeah, see, you
Yeah.
also, but there's also provisions though for those kind of vehicles to be on the road for a short amount, to get from A to B. But I'm telling you, do I think you actually need to register it? Not for the toll bridge. It doesn't go any further than the Bridge Road and the toll bridge area. I would say no, but,
Are they insured?
you know, that's the question. You're
mean,
gonna be
there are-
on the roadway. They have to have some type of insurance linked to them. If the bridge as a whole has, say, an umbrella policy or a liability
We
policy.
have equipment, we have insurance on equipment. If it falls under that equipment provision, it would
Yeah.
fall under that.
Well, it's the
Like-
same,
It's like the DPS equipment. We drive that on the road. It has equipment coverage on it, it has liability coverage on it. So.
yeah, you need the liability, like if you're driving down, let's say, the bridge with that Bobcat and you hit a vehicle, how do you handle that? I mean, do we have insurance? And it's our fault, let's say, it's our fault.
I've never experienced that. We've never
one's
had
ever hit
that.
anything.
We
No,
do
I
have
mean,
insurance on our equipment for that.
yeah,
For example, a couple of years ago, the backhoe backed into a truck, a personal vehicle of somebody it was actually at a junk event, and our insurance covered that expense associated with the repair.
Okay.
So similar type situation.
Because there has to be something attached to them, even if they're plated or not, for liability if they're in the same position as a vehicle in a roadway. In other words, if they're within a roadway where there's other vehicles and you're gonna be driving it, then it's got to have some type of liability to it, insurance. I don't care if it's kind of like the equivalent to PLPD where if you crash it, we gotta pay for it. You know, but we have to have liability insurance on that vehicle because of striking another vehicle.
I would also wonder if the insurance that we have covering our bridge in general would cover any equipment, including the Bobcats. I don't know if that's a question you've asked.
It does,
Carrier, it does.
Yeah.
it does. That's specifically listed, yep.
Thank you.
Okay.
These are all good questions. I'm gonna suggest if you would look into that, whether or not we need to be street legal or
Okay.
not. And,
Okay.
and also if the insurance is adequate for this situation, and just report it next time at the board.
okay. Will do.
Does that seem reasonable?
I just thought it's
Unless,
worth asking.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
unless we're on a timeline, is it okay if we push this out a month, or do we need to make a recommendation tonight?
Probably a recommendation tonight because your next meeting would be after the next board meeting.
Yeah. I think we can take action on that
Sure.
separately from the other question.
What's the lead time for delivery assuming the township approves at the next meeting, or the board approves at the next meeting?
Couple of
I was
months.
gonna say, so we
Yeah.
have a little bit of time to. Because if it looks like if it's got all the street, even if it does become, it looks like it's got most, if not all the street legal requirements already on, turn signals and a horn and all that stuff, so.
Yeah.
Well, if this one needs to be street legal, which I'm thinking probably it doesn't,
I would hope not, but
then the other one
Confirm.
might also be in the same boat. And we'd have to address that one as well.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
And also remember with these new vehicles, unfortunately, there's a new law that came out that, let's just say we have one and we want to make it street legal, you have to do it from the beginning of the purchase now, so they're coming that way, most of it, you know. Now, I don't even know, and I'm sorry, I didn't see on here if that one even had seat belts,
It does.
but there's certain things like that, that's what I'm saying is they're coming with those right now, because all from the factory, then they can get plated, you know, for the roadway. So I can't just, there's some law that as of, I don't know if it was 23 or so, you can't take a used one sent to Joe's Joe's refurbishing, golf cart and come back and have it all
The
legal.
VIN changes.
Yeah,
It
so the
becomes
whole thing is different now, but this is a good idea.
The quote shows a deluxe road package from backup alarm, turn signals,
Yes.
flasher, so
Yeah.
it looks,
So it's
I
coming
mean, it's a
up.
deluxe road
It
package.
looks
It looks
to be
ready to go.
street legal, yes. It looks to be street legal, according to the sheet,
Right.
Yeah, brake lights, rear view mirrors, side mirrors, horns.
that's all the things you need, yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
so,
So,
thank you.
okay.
So
What's that?
do we owe anything on this? I'm still unclear. This was on the agenda for us to,
Recommend it to the board for
yeah, to recommend it to the,
For purchase, yeah.
The recommendation, as I read in Derek's request, states, "The Grosse Ile Toll Bridge Commission hereby recommends to the Township Board the purchase of a Bobcat UW 56 at a cost of $67,679.40. So if somebody would like
So
to
moved.
make that motion?
I make the motion.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion passes to make the recommendation to the Township Board for the purchase. Thank you.
Derek, can we get that on, oh, wait a minute, there isn't one.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, there's
What's
not,
that, Joe?
there's not another one in a couple weeks, it's June 8th.
Right.
Is the next meeting, so we had to wait till June 8th.
well, we covered, the commission covered, we passed it along.
Good.
Let's see, what's our next agenda item? Ordinance?
Okay, we're into discussion items. I'll just add the one discussion item, the update of the construction drawings for the bridge repairs. We are expecting the construction drawings to be coming in right at the end of this month, so we'll have them. And we need to be ready to make a recommendation on our next board meeting of June 17th. Now, the commission would make a recommendation, assuming we like everything we see. And so the recommendation would most likely be that we go out to bids along with a list of bidders. And we'll be finalizing that in our engineering review meetings prior to that. But plan for the June 17th to be able to, what's that? Thank you. So on June 17th, our commission would be ready to make a recommendation if everything is in order.
Yeah, a couple of things to add to that. The engineer has scheduled a meeting with potential contractors to provide that presentation that was reviewed with us a week or two ago. I think that's scheduled for it's either the 26th or the 28th of this month. And then the presentation that was developed for the general public, if you guys want to make a decision as to when and how that is addressed, either at the board meeting through, a presentation, which board meeting, do you want it here first, do you want it there first, how do you want to do that? That would be helpful to decide, how best to approach that. So, this would be just for the benefit of the public, a presentation about the scope of work, what the project details are to a certain extent, with pictures and whatnot, potential schedules, things of that sort. So, just so we can bring the general public up to speed as to where we're at with everything. So if you guys want to discuss that, and give some direction, that would be beneficial.
Very good.
Has there already been a list of potential contractors developed?
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either, but H&H obviously must have an idea of who they're gonna distribute that to, because, you know, to have a meeting scheduled within the next week or
Well,
so.
does their process, is that in line with the township's requirements, in terms of the notification? I just wanna make sure.
This is an extent, in addition to any requirements that we have, this is above and beyond,
Oh,
so.
okay, all
And so Kyle might be able to speak to that a little bit, but it's not uncommon to do this to generate
No,
interest,
I
to get
understand, I
feedback.
just wanna make sure we're not.
No, it's
bypassing the
nothing,
township requirement.
nothing violating or, this is above and beyond.
All right.
So, you wanna speak to that at all, or?
Yeah, it is not required for us to reach out to contractors, but in this case, it's a good idea to do so because of
course,
the
yeah.
complexity of the project. And it'll make them familiar with it, so when they bid it, they don't have to spend too much time researching it. They already are familiar with what the scope and what's going to be taking place. I think it's an excellent idea to have that meeting up front. Then, once we advertise, we just follow the township's process. We give them 30 days to prepare the bids, turn them in. Once that's done, we'll open the bids, it'll be public opening, and we'll review them, and they'll make a recommendation to the township, to the commission first. Then, from the commission, if the commission agrees with the recommendation, it will proceed to the township board. After that, they'll buy the insurance and bonds, and if everything is in order with the insurance and bonds, it will proceed to signature stage, and that will go to the supervisor's office for signature.
H&H is the construction manager, and all of the contracts are gonna flow through them. Was there a markup discussion with them on a cap on it of a certain volume as we went through the?
Well, H&H is the engineering design.
But they're
also
They're also the CM.
project
Yeah.
management, contracting, all that.
Yes.
Under that flat fee, so there isn't a component where there's
But there's
Yeah.
zero markup on
Right.
either. It's a pass-through.
pass-through for.
Well, like if it's a $15 million to a steel erection company to do all the replacement of all the structural steel, they're not gonna mark it up 3%, 4%, 5% on top
So
of
they have
that.
a fixed fee for. with
Flat
us
fee,
as a
okay,
professional
so it is a
service.
pass-through.
Right, and their fees are not based upon a percentage of the project cost or anything like that, so.
Okay. Is there a copy of that H&H contract? I would like to look at that just
Yeah,
to
we
make
can
sure,
get that
please.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And I have a question going back to the engineering drawings. When we last spoke with H&H, there was a delay with DTE getting the information they needed to complete the drawings. Does anybody know if
There was some
DTE?
communication going on today about that with DTE.
Okay.
So, I don't think it's been resolved, but it's in process. And that is they said that the last item that they have to
Yes.
resolve. Yep.
And they can't finish the drawings without that DTE?
Right, feedback, yeah.
Okay.
I think we got them connected to who they needed to talk to at DTE today, so.
So do we have to approve a motion on this public presentation, how we're gonna go forward with it? I'm unclear where we left it.
Not tonight.
Yeah.
I think we'll be discussing that further,
Okay.
and
after-
come June 17th, we'll see what we have,
Okay.
what's in order, and we'll make the decision on our June 17th, unless we feel there's a need for a special meeting. Right now, I'm thinking June 17th, our next commission meeting, we'll be going through all that.
Perfect.
Okay, I just wanted to bring everybody up to date, so thank everybody for your input. Next item on the agenda is a fun item, the Island 250th anniversary.
I think Manager Farrell is gonna start that discussion for us.
I put a file in front of you, so you have items that you can look at. To start with, the first one on page that you have is basically the ideas that we are considering.
Could we
Do you want
just-
it on here? Okay.
Yeah, I think for those watching,
Okay.
thank you.
Sorry, I did it wrong way. There you go. Okay, so the first one is about the pamphlet that we've been discussing. You do have a pamphlet attached. It's with the Allegra paperwork, yep. Okay, so you'll see the quote that I have received. I did a quantity of 150. That would cost us $69.90 and it would be an insert, basically, that we could put in the pamphlet to hand out, which kind of tells a little And you'll see that the pamphlet we designed in your next page after the quote. And I can put this on here real quick so people can see it. But this is what we kind of came up with. Allegra could make 150 of those at the cost of $69.90 or 250 at the cost of $98. I kind of asked for different quantities because I'm really not sure what the attendance would be at a function like this at Centennial Farms. So I'm hoping I can get some feedback on that to kind of determine which one we would want to go with if you approve of it. So basically, if you read it over, it kind of just tells about, I kind of took the angle that this is part of Grosseo's history, this pamphlet. It was made by the original family of who built that bridge, and it's kind of talks a little bit about that. It does state that some of the information in the pamphlet is, no longer. It used to be at one time, but it either does not exist anymore, like the well, or the change of hands with selling the bridge. So it just kind of tells you a little bit about that. And then on the back, so it would be double-sided, I kind of made a mention about, the township is excited owning this bridge now, and we're looking forward to see what future generations will be able to look back at and see what the township has done with this bridge. Then I included the Grosseo Historical Society. They're the best source that we have that can, if people have certain questions about what is in the pamphlet with the historical sites, they would be the one that they would want to reach. And I did talk to them about putting this information on, and they were fine with that. And then I also just included the bridge, so if they have questions, trying to push, give some PR to the bridge and getting people to call us if they have questions on anything that's concerning. So that was one of the things that we wanted to have available for the July 25th at the table that, the Grosseo Bridge would have, to hand that out. Plus, we could be handing it out to people that come through that are new to the, like anybody, new homeowners, things like that, handing that out and giving that. That's what we currently are doing with just the pamphlet itself. If somebody's new to the area, we pass it out, kind of get them excited of the things that they can see on the island. So that was one idea.
Maureen, this looks really good. Thank you. I know you
Welcome. Amy,
worked on it.
my assistant, helped a lot. She's very good with
did a
computers.
nice job.
So
Who monitors the email address tollbridge@grosseal.com?
that goes right to the 24-hour office, next to the plaza. So I put that one on because we,
Somebody checks it daily.
oh yeah, we're on it, if the supervisor in the evening is there, he checks that also, but that's something that Amy and I are on all the time. So that's where we want questions to go instead of my office one. The second idea that we had was the raffle. Okay, so we are looking at having a little raffle that is at the table also. This one we need a little work on, oops, I keep putting it upside down, sorry. We want to add some information of what they possibly could win. So we would adjust this. We are looking at possibly doing three pulls. We have raffle tickets that I will have at the table, and they would look like this. They would fill it out. We'd have a basket or something to put those in. The following Monday, we would pull whoever won. My one if we do three, that would be $90, because my thought would be it would be 10 tickets that they would win. So basically 10 crossings at $3 a piece, so it would be $30 per winner. And the reason I picked that number, it's kind of basically giving somebody that works on the island that could go back and forth using the island, not having to pay to go to work. Leaving and coming back would be 10 tickets. I didn't know what our budget was at this point, so, I thought 3, but, 1, 2, or 3 winners, whatever fits our budget. And that's why we did not fill out anything on the raffle ticket of what the winning would be. So, that was another suggestion that we had. The next one you're gonna see is some, quotes from Douglas Electric, and this is
So
where.
before we go off there,
Yep.
there's a question on that one. Did we answer, do we need a specific license to hold the raffle?
Oh, thank you for bringing that up.
My experience with those
It
licenses.
has to be, the winnings have to be less than $100 per day in order to not, you can do that without getting a license. Anything more than that, you have to apply for a license with the charitable gaming.
Good.
But this is not a, the bridge is not profiting, it's not generating revenue. This isn't a revenue generation activity, this is a giveaway.
Right.
I just
There is
did,
no-
it was a question on here and I didn't hear it answered, so we don't need a specific license to do this
My
raffle.
understanding is unless we're utilizing this as a revenue generating activity, this is simply a giveaway, it's not a revenue generating raffle.
Yeah.
Which
Right.
in my experience needs a license, right? With, under the circumstances that Teresa had mentioned. So, I believe that's the case.
Right.
Okay, so
And-
the answer is no, and how about the second question?
Okay, and sorry, thank you for pointing it out. I was going a little too fast. I was not sure if we wanted to photograph the winners and put them in the Grow Seal newsletter or possibly put them on the township website. We could do that, but if we do decide to do something like that, I did not know if we would need a release form from whoever was winning. So that would be, something else that we would create. And then, as I'm speaking about creating, we would create, if we go this route with the 10 tickets that we would hand, they would have to always use the booth lane, which would be in basically our procedure. If you're a winner, these are your rules that you would have to follow to use these. And somehow we would mark these tickets so they could not be reproduced. Get something on there, whether it's some kind of stamp from Grow Seal, or it's a mark on it, or a hole in the, some kind of hole puncher that we could mark, that we could find, that would be hard to find. So that's one thing I have to still think of how we would mark these. So, we're not giving away more than what we were planning on.
My initial thought on this is no photos, but definitely, since this is a public raffle, there will be winners getting free money, right? Even though it's only 10 tickets, names should be released.
Okay.
No photos, photos, there's a lot to that, right, in terms of releases, but for full transparency, I'd recommend that we release the name like Maureen or
Okay.
somebody who won them.
Okay, perfect.
So that way you know that they actually went to people and 3 different people won, or whatever.
And again, that's what I need to figure out for our budget, whether we could do 1, 2, or 3, and what
Christine, Chris, thoughts on that? as
everybody's
far as-
comfortable with.
Most of the time, as long as people consent to have their picture placed on the website, it's okay, but we would want a release form. We can follow up on that
Okay.
more carefully.
Okay.
I mean, it's fun to see your neighbor's picture on
Right.
the
Or your own.
website, or your, not mine, but,
If you're the winner, yeah.
but,
I love photos, I just don't want the extra regulatory hurdle for a $90 entry.
understand that, and if it's an easy release, then if that's easy, it's easy.
And it's good publicity for the bridge.
Okay. The next, what you have are 2 quotes, and I'm not sure if you want me to put those on the,
Yeah.
okay.
Any
Just-
expense item we should put on the,
Okay, I just wasn't sure, so that's why I
Yeah.
asked. Okay, this first one is from Douglas Electric. I did talk to him, and this is where I'm pulling Joe in, about doing the lighting for us, okay? Entrance lights east and west
Right.
to the span, to see what his cost would be, and I know you have also did some work on it also.
Right.
So, but just for a comparison, now this dollar amount would be for the east-west open span, and then some items on the, underneath the plaza to do some, decorations up there. So I don't know how that compares to yours, Joe?
No, go ahead,
Yeah, oh,
is there a
So
duration? There's
it's-
not a duration on this quote, like, are they living up for a minute, for a month?
I told him it would be for the month of July.
mine
So-
only for 2 weeks. We could do it for a
Okay.
month, because it's just up and down, it doesn't matter
kidding
how
me?
long.
Well, it
Right.
doesn't say to remove the lights.
I will follow up with him, but yes, they would. On
Make
this.
sure it's clarified.
Yes.
Is this from you?
Yes, okay. So that is a combination of doing the bridge.
Never showed that up on the screen.
Well, I'll talk about it when she's done.
Okay. That would,
I know it's.
that would be for both locations though, the east and west, along with helping at the plaza. Okay, so that cost would be that. And then I did ask him if this would be just doing the plaza, the 1850. So if the plaza, how we're thinking about handling it, would be, so any questions about the 1850? Can I leave that? All good?
This is still same time frame, month of
Yes.
July.
Yep.
Yeah.
Putting up, taking down. So
Do we have to shut down the bridge, do we know? Or how, just, could we do one light at a time?
he could just do one lane at a time, yes. Yeah, we wouldn't have to, yeah, and we would need a lift for that.
We've got a lift.
Oh, do you? I wasn't sure if you guys
Airport's got a
did.
lift, and I have the reserve police who will help. I
Okay.
set that up if we do it.
If we do
Very
it,
good.
okay. So if we did not want to go with Douglas Electric on either one of them, we still came up with an idea, a second option. And this is where I actually put down, we would request the help of the township to do this on our own. I don't know if you can see that very good.
Can you go straight? Yeah.
Good, but this is, we found these on Amazon. They're basically a plastic roping, and we would take the roping and we would go only on the center pole that's right next to the plaza, going up it, and then along with lights. I figured out on your sheet that I have here for this roping, we'd probably need approximately 150 feet. The cost would be $51. Okay, because it's about $17 for every 50 feet. We do already have electrical outlet that's on the plaza that we would be able to run up to that pole without any cost of having to install. And that's why those prices are so large with Douglas Electric, to do it around the east and west side. There's no electrical outlet that they can put in there. So, but this we could do just at the plaza, on the center poles along with white lights, so at night you would be able to see it also. And we would also do the same thing with the toll plaza itself. We can't hang anything into the windows because of visual, but there is an area at the very top that we used to put garland around. It doesn't get in anybody's sight, and it would make that area light up. So that total, it would be $51 for the garland, and then it would be additional $60 for having white lights to be wrapped up along the pole and around the top of the plaza, the booth itself.
And
Okay.
for my clarity, who did we say would hang this?
This
Not
one
me, I
I'm
don't do
talking,
ladders.
I'm built for the ground myself, sir.
okay. So the second option that we came up with, and of course, we don't have the ability to do anything over on the entranceways with lighting unless we want to hire someone to put electrical into it, and that's where it's getting costly. But, between the lights and the garland, it's about $110, but I would need assistance. We do have a big, tall ladder, but I think doing a man lift just for safety reason would be
Who do we have
better.
the employees do it? I'm still wondering, like Douglas Electric would do the lights, who'd do the garland if we went just with the garland?
with the garland, so that's where I'm looking at it, it would have to be township. We'd be paying $1,800 for them to come and do that portion, what you're talking, Douglas, but if we do it on our own,
Would the DPS, Derek, help out?
No.
They generally provide support to other departments, but usually it's on overtime, and it's billed to that department.
Okay.
so,
Do we have an idea as far as, is it like a day's effort or?
I don't know, I'm not sure, would you know how long about it would take, you think?
I would think it'd just be a couple hours, because they just need to lift up to the top of the pole, wrap it down, we'll have, and then it's just being plugged in, because there's an outlet on each end of that booth. And, you know, I did talk to Mike about that. Would that be, you know, something that we could do? And he goes, oh, absolutely. You know, because, you know, he was looking at it to run it himself. And, you know,
Did they give you a
So-
quote, Maureen, on, I'm sorry I didn't see it on there, and maybe I missed it, and I
Which-
apologize. Was there a quote from Douglas Electric to put a GFI plug in each side of the bridge?
oh, yes, that's part of the.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed it.
Yep, that is part of the $3,400.
How much just for the GFI plug?
He did not break it down. He
That's
gave
what
me
I
a
was gonna say.
full
I didn't
price,
see it
but
on
I
there.
could,
Okay.
I could double check.
If you could ask them, because when I give I had 5 companies, but only 2 do it now, and 1 did a drawing with me, so
Okay. All right,
I'm
yeah,
just-
I'll reach out to him tomorrow.
whatever they want.
Okay. Any questions about the second option?
I do have a question.
Okay.
Thank you for all the work you've put in putting this together, and you too, Joe. So it's a little bit of a bugger not having those plugs at
Yeah.
each end. I do wonder if there'd be any hope of using solar. One of the things I thought about after your good idea for lighting was, what if we even just had like spotlights, red, white, and blue at each end? You know, you see that sometimes
Yeah.
at fairs and things. I just wonder if spotlights might not be expensive. I wonder if they could work off solar and be put at each end. Maybe they wouldn't light every night. Oh, well, the nights that they
Right.
light, it could be cool, it could be cheap.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's worth looking into.
Well, some of the lighting up there is solar, so, you know, on the post, so we could try.
So maybe that's
Yeah,
another
yeah,
thing to look
okay.
into. We still have some time.
Yeah. On all this, I truly do believe we do. The only one thing that I am aware of right now, that would be a time limit if we did the pin, which I have some information
Okay.
on that.
All right, so we'll move
So-
on.
Okay.
So this is, we only have one more meeting, and it's gonna be mid-June, which would only leave 2 weeks. So I think we need, if we're gonna do this, I think we need to make a motion and approve some level of budget, so we can enable this to be done. Otherwise, we're.
I was thinking the same
I
thing.
don't want to get paralysis via analysis.
Yeah, I think the last meeting we had talked about this, we had discussed a marketing line item, but Teresa reminded me we don't have a marketing line item, so, you know.
Did you want to talk
you
about
would
your
need
lights
to
right now?
Set some money aside from somewhere in the budget to be able to permit this.
So I just want to remind the commission that we had excess, when we did the budget for 26, 27, we had excess revenue of about $306,000 that we put in as reserve for capital improvements for the purpose of just balancing the budget. So a portion of that can be allocated towards promotion.
35.
And then
That's way better.
I would just add the account and we would
2,000?
adjust the budget when I do the budget amendment.
Isn't that
But you have
right
to
there?
decide how much.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for, is just, let's make a line item, and then, march towards that.
None of that, so just above the sign.
Joe has the floor.
No, I'm sorry, we were just talking about this.
I'm sorry, you can't put that up without, like, taking the floor. That's amazing looking. What-
No, I didn't.
What is it?
I didn't want anybody to fall out of their chair. We did some drawings, this is not what we're gonna have, but I said, why don't you put just everything in there and give me a price on that? Well, here's what I did though, 5 companies I contacted, 1 company worked with me, 1 company said they would and never got back with me, 3 companies don't do it now. So I'm glad that you got another quote too, which kinda adds to, we're supposed to get 3 quotes up to a certain amount, but this is, let me explain to you. This entire program you see right here, okay, this is not what we're gonna have, obviously, that's $35,000. This, what I wanted to see was, what do we got for the 4th of July? Well, we got our 250th somewhere up there. Gotta have flags, and you gotta have red, white, and blue, that's, to me, I thought, that's all we need. So when you look at just this, and this, that's approximately $2,000. She called me yesterday, she apologized, she said, I'd have the quote for you yesterday. She says she's doing some other workup, and so she didn't get it to me today. I thought it would come in today, but that's okay. So I'm letting you know I got a verbal quote, but it's nothing set in stone yet. So, what I thought was, I don't think, we obviously don't need anything else, but maybe the entrance, or the other entrance also, so remember, it's 2 a pop each side, but I said, can you make flags? She says, we can make whatever you want. So we put this in the computer with the 250, and you can't see on here, but this is lights. If you can see those little pen drawings, those are lights coming up from there. We can also just do the spotlights. Chris, you said something about just spotlights. I mean, we could just do spotlights. I didn't get a bid on it, but it's not expensive at all.
Yeah, I'm
It's
just
just
thinking, the shoot
Different
up,
color
yeah.
spotlights, maybe with just the 250, but this right here, so you guys understand, the amount for what you're getting for the bid is approximately $2,000, and it can go up anytime and come down, because it only goes up once, it comes down.
Is that 2,000 for each end?
Yeah, that's the
So
problem.
it's 4,000.
Yeah, so this, I'm envisioning this end is like the toll plaza.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyhow, I'm sorry.
And Joe, procedurally, I think you mentioned it last time, how much is the commission allowed to approve without going to the board?
Technically, you're not allowed to approve.
Oh, no, you're not allowed to approve. It's
Anything.
25 to, you recommend to us, and I have to get 3 quotes. I mean,
Up to $5,000 can be handled
Yeah,
administratively,
but-
as long as you've got the necessary quotes.
yeah, see, I got the quotes. They haven't gotten back with me, but I got 6 quotes now. Or I got 6 companies, and only 2 companies out of the 6 are actually giving us something. So I can't just keep, you know what I mean?
But I still go back to, so you can cover it administratively.
Yeah, we do, and then it goes to the board, and the board okays it.
Anything over 5 would go to the board, anything under 5 would be handled administratively.
Yeah, I don't think we're close to anything over 5, what I'm
No,
seeing.
no. But I'll get, and I'm sorry, I said I gotta have the bids before Wednesday, because that's our meeting. She said, I'll have them Monday. And then she didn't get them to me Tuesday or today.
I think this is amazing looking, so thank you.
So,
Yeah.
but I think just this top part, now, I don't know, it is a lot of money. It's the people's money, I get it. We said we would join in for Grow Seal's 250th event. But the question is, you know, I get it, it's a balance of money, and I'm not gonna stand, I gotta sit, whatever, I think where you're at, Patrick, is my chair, and have people throw tomatoes at me from this side, you know, because we spent $2,000 for the bridge. So the point is, this is what you get if that's what you want, that's all. And Maureen showed you, you know, what you get for 1840, I think was the one.
1850.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry,
That's okay.
1850 for that quote. And so we kind of got what you get for that, you know. So, lady and gentlemen, it's going to be up to you what you want, and then we'll bring it to the board. And so I just wanted to show you. And
So do we want to discuss this right now?
I'm
I think so,
thinking-
yes.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. I'd like to hear the rest of Maureen's ideas.
Yep.
So you have a full picture,
Mhm.
because she has some other things to suggest that we do on the big day at Centennial Farm. And then when you have a whole picture, I think we could have a better discussion about where
Very
we want to
good.
cut it off. So,
Okay, so, the next item that we were thinking was the kids at Centennial Farms. I'm not gonna show you pictures, you have them, you can see them, but, it's basically getting red, white, and blue goodie bags that hand out to the tables for the kids. That, if we, to get 50 bags, again, this is where I'm looking at to see attendance, if somebody could kind of focus on how many they would expect to something like this. 50 bags are $8, so we can go anywhere between spending $8 and getting 50 bags or getting 150 bags for $24. So there's some wiggle room in there in cost. The other thing was connectable popsicle sticks, which I think are really cool. You'll have a sheet in there. And those we can get quantities of up to 1,000, or 500. And again, we're going to look and see for attendance reasons. But if we got 1,000, that would be 1 unit, cost $24, and they could build a bridge with these. You know, that's what we're asking the, you know, kids to do. We want, you know, build us bridges. Let's see what your bridges look like. So, saying that, I was really hoping that I could get some help from the commission. You guys, build me a bridge. Let me, if we go this route, can I give you a handful of these connectable popsicle sticks? Be creative, build a bridge so we can put it on the table. I'm horrible at crafts. Be the first one to admit it, but that's where I was looking to get the commission a little bit involved. So that was another one, and again, that would be for 1,000 pieces, $24. And that's what this little goodie bag would be. We would have them all set up, you know, I'll have them all bagged up for the kids. That's what my staff is gonna get to do through the month of June, you know, create these if we go this route. And, you know, that's what we would hand out. The next one would be, creating, and these, I'll show you just a couple of these, but we can buy some crayons in a pack where there's 4 crayons, basic colors, that cost would be approximately $20 for 80 of the sets. So again, you'll see at the very end, I kind of did a high end and a low end on the quantities that we would want, but we have the Grow Seal Toll Bridge logo that we can print out for the kids to color, which looks like this, okay? And we would print these at the office, you know, and just in black and white. We had another one for the Grow Seal Township, talking about when it was deeded. So these are all connected to 250 years of history for us. One's just the bridge itself, which is kind of cool. And the last one is stating Grow Seal, Michigan, the 250th logo. So that was another idea. And again, if we go back and look at that, that price is approximately, for all of those, is about $88 to do something like that for children activities. You know, that would be at the table that we have. Okay, and then, let's see. Handcrafted pin, these are our ideas, and again, I just received a quote right when I walked out, and it might be a little bit out of our budget, but you know, I definitely wanted to show you what it was looking at. I grabbed, nope, it's in my other folder. I'll give you guys each one after, but it just basically tells all the different sizes of the pins that we could get. And actually, I want you to know the prices. I'm gonna grab it.
So these are pins that we could hand out and people could wear. I grew up in Pittsburgh. That's Heinz ketchup territory, Heinz pickles. And every kid in my age group had a pickle pin. It was a little green pickle, and it was a thing.
So
we were
these are
thinking
the,
bridge pins.
oh, sorry, Chris.
Go ahead.
These are the two ideas that we thought, but if there's other suggestions, I'm open to it. We just figured, you know, the logo that, you know, we just adapted for the bridge, and then the Grow Seal, Michigan. But if there's something else people would like to, you know, look at, I'm open for that. This was a quote, and I really got it right when I left. So they're talking, you know, if you look at it, one of the lowest ones would be 250 pins. These are the lowest quantities that we can order also. It's either 100 or 250. You know, we can't do just 50 or 75. These are how they come. But, you know, the price for it would be $190 all the way up to $350. You know, because you're buying the individual button pins, and those are the sizes. So that's something to consider. And like I said, I just got this quote and I haven't had a chance to talk to them. I was waiting for this, and it came right before I left. So I can find more information on that if you guys are interested in pursuing something like that. Okay? And that is not included when I turn my sheet here. That is not included on where we're going next. The table items, and this is, honestly, this is the last one I'm going to give you guys, is I did some research on what's the oldest chocolate in America, okay? Hershey's it is. Hershey's is, so I thought it would be kind of cool if we had just a little basket with the mini Hershey candy bars for people just to pick up, okay? I did a little, read a little bit about it, put the highlight interesting facts on it, and it would just be something at you know, just a giveaway. They could take one, you know, or we can do something else that might be just something small like Tootsie Rolls that wrap. I'm sure it would be a little bit less expensive, but to get 166 pieces through Amazon for the minis, it's $50 approximately.
I guess my first thought is chocolate on the 4th of July sounds like a mess.
And we've thought of that, and I thought I would bring a cooler and only put out a limited amount and keep them in there, because we
Well, they
did
do
think
make
about
chocolate
that.
syrup too, so.
Yeah. So it's an idea, you know, but feel free to think about
I
it.
love the budget item at $50 for over 100 pieces. It's just the practicality.
Yeah, yeah.
The engineer in me works out, sorry.
So that was an idea. And let me see, the table itself, I've, for the bridge, I'm going to, I didn't bring these, but we're going to have some applications, try to get some more customers to go on to, you know, instead of paying cash, you know, get them involved, have those there. We'll also have our business card there for, you know, people are going to probably be asking lots of questions. Just I want to have business cards there to hand out to them to, you know, give, that states our hours, our numbers, our emails, you know, websites, you know, that they can search on their own or give us a call. So that would be there. And then I've reached out to the Historical Society, and there is one particular photo we used to display in the Plaza trailer, and it was the history of all the tokens. You know, there's the original one that was brass, that's about this big, is in there. An octagon, it has all these shapes and stuff, and then it goes to the little booklets that they used to have, where it would say one family member, or you know,
They
just
used to hide in their cars to save on tickets.
to get over, yeah, yeah. So, and then it goes to the hanging tag that used to hang from the rearview mirror, you know,
Silver
to,
tokens,
yeah.
yep.
So the token, so that's one item that I've requested, and then they do have it, so they're gonna give that back, and I'm probably gonna have to go over there and see what else I think would be interesting to put on that table. So, any
Where is this gonna be located? The table?
Centennial Farms, I don't know if I'm outside under a tent or in a building or anything, they have not
Nobody
figured.
knows yet.
Yeah, nobody
Okay.
knows where that is,
The
so,
date though, they have their date set.
Yes.
July 25th, yeah, 12 to 5.
Maureen and I both
So-
attended the meeting that was held jointly by the Historical Society and the Recreation Committee, where they're putting it all together. They will put together a map where they'll show us where each table
Yep.
will go. So that's why we don't know yet where we'll be, or whether we'll have access to indoors to show a video.
Yeah,
But you just gave a beautiful segue to the one more thing we want to bring up, is we think, since we've got engineers on the commission, it would be a wonderful opportunity to have a visual or a model that would show the public, especially teach the kids, how the bridge works, how it turns, how the teeth fit in the gears, and maybe even some indications of what eye-bars are, the pins, or the deck material, or whatever. So Maureen and I were kind of thinking maybe some of the engineers in the group could come up with something like that, or maybe H&H could even help us. We've got a very active robotics team at the high school, and kids love robotics. So I know when I worked with the Corps of Engineers, we had models of locks and showed kids and everybody how a lock works, and boat goes up, boat goes down. So would love to toss that to you guys.
How do we get the bridge?
Yeah.
How do we get the model of it?
Well, at least a model of even how it turns, how the gears engage.
Okay, how do you get the actual model?
Yeah.
Where do we get that from?
Well,
Yeah.
Oh, you mean you want them to make it?
Oh, you gonna make it, or?
I misunderstood that
or
part.
come up with it.
Good, they didn't teach me that in the police academy. All right, I'm
Bet
good.
you
Working
could
on the,
do it.
I'm only working on the full-scale model. not-
Yeah.
Get your Legos out.
I didn't understand that part. Okay, thank you, Chris. No, seriously, I was making sure I.
Or perhaps we could do something visual as a projection, if it's not a physical model.
right, and that is one thing, because we're not sure if we're outside, I don't know if we'll have electrical.
Right.
Yeah,
So that's another,
I think it's
Question
good
we have to
thoughts.
find out.
Let's keep thinking about that, yeah.
okay.
All right.
And then at the very bottom of that, the first sheet that you looked at on the back side, it does give kind of a breakdown. And these are approximate, you know, because there's probably gonna be tax, things like that. But if we did the minimal side of ordering everything, you know, the lowest quantity, basically the 50 bags, things like that, that would cost approximately $300. If we jump it up, and this is not including the PIN or Douglas Electric, okay? So I didn't add those in here because they were so high. But, and then if we did at a higher number, you know, of looking at maybe 150 bags to hand out, that would be around 450. And that is at, you know, so, and both figures do say only one raffle ticket, where the 450 is including 3 raffle tickets. So you'll see that on the bottom of your sheet. So,
Thank you, Maureen.
you're welcome.
Would the commission want, would it be appropriate for you guys to recommend a budget? What you're, obviously been a tremendous amount of work that's gone into this, and there's a lot of good ideas and a lot of energy around it too, so you don't wanna, I think, curtail and say, hey, you need to do this. It'd be nice to give you the flexibility to be able to do what you think is best. And the budgetary standpoint, I think, from a budgetary standpoint, it's probably best for you guys to weigh in on that and make a decision.
Yes, and I'm thinking, if there was any idea presented that you hate and you don't want us to pursue, say that, so we
Yeah.
would know that we might want to drop something.
Right, no feelings hurt here, just,
And otherwise, I like the idea of let's set a budget, and then you, or maybe you and I
Yeah,
can
we can
figure
look it
out
over.
how the budget would be allocated.
So I just have a couple of questions, comments. I think they're all great ideas, but we're already $1 million in the hole going into,
Yeah.
you know, the first month of a shortened revenue year because of the closure of the bridge. Is there, and like I said, I think they're all great ideas, but is there a way that we can request our key suppliers like H&H or Wallman that may want to help offset some of these costs versus us funding this ourselves? I mean, there's a significant spend with H&H for sure. And if we're talking a total, you know, to do it all is what, under 10 grand? I didn't do the math, but easily under 10 grand. Is that within the bounds of this to at least say, hey, would you
Yeah,
like
we
to
can
help
work
us
We can work with existing vendors and things of that sort.
to
That's,
participate in
Yeah.
in the celebration because they're so much a
obviously, we
part of the
can't,
bridge?
you know, request a donation for somebody that might be vying for work from us, right? So,
Right.
but yeah, we could go to the vendors and talk to them about that, yeah.
Could their names go somewhere then?
Yeah,
or is that
absolutely.
not
I think,
legal?
you know,
That might not be.
Proper recognition, yeah, and I think we'll have some participation,
Think
you know,
so,
from the
yeah.
vendors, yeah. I think once.
that would be a great way to offset, you know.
Yeah,
And we,
No, there's one right there.
I think Ohio was, we can have a conversation.
No problem.
There we go. We already got one, so.
any
Well-
questions?
the big item, of course, is the lights,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, that's,
I mean, the
I'll
other
show you small to
is
large.
pretty small compared to that.
yeah.
So and I like the idea of the lights. It's dramatic. It'll be obviously noticed by everybody, not just those that come to the Centennial
Right.
Farms, you know? So, I mean, I think it'd be nice to do. Now, you're saying that we could do this with a recommendation from the commission to do it within
The administration
already
budget.
budgeted
So the way our
areas?
policy reads is, it's actually technically budgeted expenditures. So long as the expenditure is budgeted, the administration of that department can authorize expenditures up to $5,000, so long as it has 3 written quotes. Below $2,500, we don't have to get 3 written quotes. Anything above $5,000 has to go to the township board. So those are kind of the
different hurdle
measuring
rates.
points, right?
So we, don't- the board, the commission doesn't need to recommend anything. The
don't.
administration can do this all on their own.
But, you know, knowing that this is, you know, an enterprise fund, you know, and most of our enterprise funds, you know, we always want to converse with the commission about what they
Yeah.
feel is appropriate and is best, and give direction to administration as far as what they support, right? Because ultimately, when it comes down to whether this entity is successful or not, you know, it falls to you, and we don't want to be making decisions as managers that put you in precarious positions of being able to do, and run the department, you know, and you know, be in positions financially that are compromised because of decisions we make, so.
I understand that it's professional courtesy.
Correct.
Yeah.
And Daryl, the board wants the commissions to be in favor of what we're voting for. And 99% of the cases, do you know what I mean?
Yes. I just, procedural, I wanted to make sure that, professional courtesy, you're asking for, are we in to support the administration going up to a certain budget level, whether it's the 2,500 or the 5,000? Teresa's already said there's a line item for much more than that, so we're not violating any budgetary rules.
Correct.
So I'm supportive of what the administration wants to do. I do want to recognize it. I think we need to mobilize, because if we don't do something, all the great ideas we can't wait till the middle of June to do something in July. So my thought is, I'd rather have the administration come out and say, we're gonna do something either under 2,500 or under 5,000, and then just go execute on it. And being $1 million in the hole, that's a financial statement in time. We're still a profitable entity. The bridge is being as well-run financially today as it was when it was a financial enterprise. It is, it's not a money-losing endeavor.
It seems as though the discussion's coming down to all the other items up, but for the lights are not a lot of money. We'll create a line item. They're gonna be well under the amount that would require any approvals. And if you're good with the ideas, unless there's one you want us to toss out, we can go forward, Maureen can go forward and decide what to do with those. And then maybe separately, we discuss the lights and whether you think the lighting is worth the investment, or we'd want to get more information about lights. I'm seeing this in two parts, because these things are kind of nominal.
Two thoughts. No chocolate in July. I think there's a $40 savings.
Patrick, do you think that the commission should make a motion then for a limit right now, or we wait?
Well, I'm kicking things around, and I'm thinking that we should make a motion to support the action that they're talking about doing. Now, if we have a $2,500 limit without bids, then,
I mean,
you know, you can go and you can buy from these vendors that you're doing. The lights are kind of another issue. And if we're gonna do that, which I would support the idea of doing it. So it's a matter of, how do we do that best? Do we support an approach there with an amount that we would say limited to for the lights?
yeah, I think
The other we can handle administratively. All
I think
these
you guys as a
miscellaneous
whole
pieces.
too,
Yeah.
even though I'm up here, but you guys as a whole probably all have an amount up here that says we can't go over, $12, or we can't go over, $2,000, or we can't go, you know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm asking. You do whatever you want. You're the chair, Patrick. I just thought, should we get that out of the way tonight? If you think we should think about it and do more research into the costs and the amounts. I really want to get the total bid. It could be a lot less, but then again, it could be more.
Yeah.
I want to get it from this young lady I've been dealing with, and I'm excited to see what exactly we're getting. So anyway,
I'm
It's up to
I'm thinking of this $5,000 number,
Where my head's at.
and maybe even make it 4,500, so it doesn't inadvertently sneak over 5,000 and you go into the next realm.
and then I have to
Yeah.
go do my homework.
Right.
I also like the capital improvement. I was really surprised we don't have GFI plugs on the bridge.
Well, we don't have could we please get a separate number for that? Because that got to be included
Yeah,
Sure, they
well,
would be
in the
GFI.
cost.
it's a
of it.
capital improvement. It's definitely budget related,
Yeah.
and that's what pushes me from 25 to 5.
We probably should have it on each end of the bridge anyway. I mean, for whatever reason, Okay.
Now, if we reach a $5,000, is that where we have to go
To the township.
to
To
the
the
township board?
If it goes over, but,
But now, I'm just talking about the 5,000, if it's 5,000 exactly, then it has to go over, so then maybe we make the amount 4,900?
Oh, I think I'm just looking for you guys from a budgetary standpoint. We'll handle the compliance with the expenditure.
I just think we should set up like a $5,000 budget cap, and then net of
Or
any-
less than, yeah.
Net of any
Up to.
net of any support from any of our partners that we work with on various items. And then our net expense would be a total no more than 4,900 or whatever we just.
Yeah.
I really like your idea of the sponsorship.
Yeah.
As far as, and people would have their opportunity to put their name on there, right? Because these are people who are doing business with us, so it's worth an ask. Doesn't hurt to ask, as long as we're in line with.
Is that a motion, Chris?
It wasn't I didn't say officially, but yes, I move that we set a $5,000 budget net of any sponsorship or support from our partners and see what that looks like in the next couple weeks.
Second.
Okay?
Okay, moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
I
We have
just
to
want-
vote on it?
I just
Do
wanted
I
you
have to say
guys
aye?
this idea. This is the cost on the pins that I just received before I left work, so you didn't have it in your packet, if it's something you
Okay.
would like to look at. The pictures
I think
are
that'll
in
work,
there.
Chris.
in the packet that
I think
gave
that'll
you.
work.
Very good. Okay, been moved and seconded. Is there no further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so we're establishing that. Thank you very much.
We get a bid from Douglas.
I know Christine, Maureen, Maureen, I know Christine said thank you, but you've obviously both have put a tremendous amount of thought and effort, and the amount of low-cost items of $40, $50, $80, goes a long way, so thank
Yeah,
you
that's a
for
good deal.
all the extra effort.
It's mostly from Maureen.
You need-
And I
you
echo
need
that
Nate in
sentiment.
there
Thank
also,
you.
'cause my assistant helped quite a bit on, doing the creations and stuff.
And we also met with the Historical Society in Maureen's office to make sure that they liked our ideas too.
Okay, next item on the agenda here is the toll bridge ordinance.
So there is a draft copy of the ordinance in your packet. The last time we talked about this was in November. Since that time, we've done some tweaking to the ordinance. So wanted to have you review that between when you receive the packet and today. Review any comments, suggestions, concerns that you might have regarding the ordinance. If the Toll Bridge Commission supports the ordinance as written, or even if you do have changes, a motion could be solicited from you tonight to make a recommendation to the board for consideration and adoption. Just so you know, I've worked with Maureen, the staff down at the Toll Bridge, in putting this together. This has been reviewed by our legal counsel. She's the one that did the draft, using the information that was supplied by the Toll Bridge staff, as well as consideration of some of the issues that we see down there, and also putting into law a lot of the rules and restrictions that may have been simply put in place by a private entity, for which, obviously we don't have that. We have to put it into ordinance. So I would be more than happy to answer any questions or concerns that you might have.
I
Yes.
did have one question. First, I thought it was really well constructed. When we talked about this in the past, I thought it was, I didn't have my head wrapped around, once I read it, I thought this was really well put together. On the toll payment exceptions, I understood public safety emergency vehicles. I understood township vehicles or vehicles owned by any government agency, and public school transportation. What else would be under publicly funded transportation, 2.C?
Like smart buses,
Buses.
things of that sort,
Smart buses?
like regional transit. So the SMART program, the Southeast Michigan Travel Transit.
Yeah, I'm familiar. Do we actually have those come on the island? Okay, 20-some years, I don't recall it. Okay, so that's the other, because I thought the A, B, and D covered everything. But that would be an example of a publicly funded transportation, the smart bus that we wouldn't charge.
Correct.
Okay, that was the only question I had on the ordinance. Other than, my only other comment is, I thought it was descriptive, brief, to the point.
There is one point that I kind of want to bring to your attention.
Was it the fine violation, the $500?
Yes.
I saw that, and I didn't know if that was customary and usual, or,
So the fine violation is something similar, the $500 per occurrence is similar to what the previous operator and previous owner was charging. Right now, we don't have the ability to weigh vehicles, okay? So that's gonna be something that we're gonna have to look at in the future. Scales, either through the PD or with staff, mobile scales or portable scales, and then the staff would have to be trained to be able to weigh vehicles. So in the interim, and also what they were doing before was just assessing a blanket fee based upon class, which is what we have here. And then eventually within the ordinance, the overweight vehicle, rules would apply as we get those scales available. And I'm assuming that would happen after the bridge reconstruction takes place.
are we suggesting we're gonna get scales for the bridge?
More than likely like portable scales,
Oh.
because if we're assessing fines that are similar to those so these fines are state fines, okay? So these are the same fines as what the state of Michigan assesses for overweight vehicles on the road. But the interest is to discourage overweight vehicles from going on the bridge and violating those load limits. That's why these have been incorporated into the rules, because just simply a $500 fine is way below what the potential fines are for overweight vehicles on state, county bridges, state and county roads, local roads. So we want to be consistent, in my opinion anyways, with what their penalties are, and provide the same level of discouragement, from violating the load limits that would be on the bridge. So,
How do we enforce fines like this as a community, as a township?
right now, we wouldn't be able to technically without the ordinance. So,
But if we have the ordinance, how do we enforce?
so it would go to 33rd District Court if they don't end up.
But does a toll booth operator write it? I'm kind of following Christine here as far as.
Yeah,
who
so,
are their
I
mechanics
would
here?
assume it'd probably be the PD that would be doing this.
Yeah, if there's an overweight, you'd have an officer, because they're not, remember, if an individual, for the bridge to do it, they have to be sworn officers in that area to write a ticket, which they're not sworn in, so it would have to be from Groseal to be called. They pull the truck over, I'm not sure where you pull trucks over there at the toll bridge off the side, off the right side there, and then they would weigh it, and if they're over, then the individual who signs the ticket would be the officer on the scene.
And before, when the private owner had these fees, it was basically like a civil issue between the two individuals. And I think in the past, people would refuse to pay them, and then they were just, their access to the bridge was discontinued.
Yeah.
So,
Chris,
Yeah.
what's your opinion on?
Well, that was the thing that jumped out to me, is how do we enforce this? If it becomes a police action, that doesn't sound like a civil action any longer.
No,
That's
they're all misdemeanors. Those are misdemeanor
Okay.
tickets.
So they go to their local court then?
Yeah, you go to 33rd
And
District Court. There's an
if-
arraignment and a pretrial.
I'm thinking about how the trains didn't pay their fines forever. And so if somebody just doesn't pay, then the question becomes, do we deny access to the bridge?
They get a warrant
and
for
we
their
do have that
arrest.
ability to do so.
You could
under
also
the-
get a warrant.
You get a warrant for their arrest
Okay.
if they don't pay.
So if you go to violations and penalties, that addresses on page 67 of the packet, the fines and fees, and also our ability to be able to limit their access to the bridge is under page 68 of the packet, under D. At the discretion of the township, the owner operator of the commercial vehicle may be banned from future use of the toll bridge.
So, I mean, the way this would function is somebody sees a truck and it looks suspiciously heavy. And then you would pull it off to the side, and if you have this portable scale, then you would use it.
Yeah, so the issue isn't necessarily coming onto the bridge. The issue is coming off the bridge. So when a truck pulls up to the plaza, they're not able to access the bridge unless they show a weight slip. That shows what their load is, how much they're carrying, and then they certify whether or not that truck can go across based upon, right now it's classification, but when you have, the other information, what the load limits and the weight scale, you can determine the weight. The issue is coming back off the island, come on the free bridge, come off the toll bridge, and then that's when it becomes an issue right now, both of class and weight. You know, but the ability for us to be able to tag them on the weight would require the scale, you know, scales.
So a couple comments. I think we have a load weight issue and we have a speed issue. So let me talk about the speed issue first. Is there a way to put cameras that would flag speeders and issue a ticket based on the license plate?
I don't have the answer to that question for you.
Say that again, the question.
Well, cameras, speed cameras, right? If you go over 25 miles an hour, you
No,
get,
speed cameras aren't legal in Michigan, not speed
Right.
cameras per se. In Michigan, they're not legal.
So ticketing
not
via
yet, but
camera.
it's up for.
No.
Right, that's what I'm saying, it's not legal yet.
You can have the flasher,
Let's
but
talk about when the bridge is complete. Let's talk about weight now.
Mm-hmm.
What is the load limit? I understand when the bridge is complete, the load restrictions.
We go to the H20 load.
Right,
Just-
which you could exceed, right, by axle
Yeah.
weight, right?
But- So
So,
for a period of time, once our bridge is done, the free bridge will be closed. So we'll know the truck's coming on and off because we'll have the weight slips. It's the only way on and off the island.
Does
Yeah.
every large truck need a weight slip to cross the bridge?
they should have a weight slip from the scales, yeah. So I'm sure there are some commercial vehicles that don't have weight slips it's not necessary because the size of that commercial vehicle. Joe would probably know better on that as
Yeah,
well.
I mean, you got a truck coming to Kroger's, a semi, it's got a weight slip?
Generally, they do, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's axle weight. The
Right.
H20 is an axle weight.
Yeah.
Requirement. What are we restricted to now, and what does it go to once the bridge is complete?
Right now, we're what, 12, 8 and 12, yeah. And then, 36, I think, is where we're gonna be afterwards, so.
I think it's great to have the language. I don't see how it's enforced. It's other than no weight ticket, but then,
Yeah, I think you have to have the ability to enforce it, and scales are your only way to be able to do so,
Yeah.
but,
See, Paul used to eyeball it. He told me.
yeah.
Well, right, that's what I'm thinking. You
That
get
holds
a-
up really well in
Yeah,
court.
right.
Yeah.
No, I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Because
Truck
they're all
looks-
civil issues. That was a civil fine, not a criminal issue.
Yeah,
He'd eyeball it, and sometimes the companies would just pay it. So I'm serious, I'm telling you the truth.
yeah.
and it was private. If they didn't like it, they were persona non grata. They
Yeah,
just
it's cheaper
cross
to pay
again.
And they didn't
500
use the
than it
bridge
is to-
ever again.
But
Then.
there has to be a penalty for exceeding the posted limits.
totally
Yeah.
agreed, but
So-
it's,
And we will have to work with the PD as far as how best to enforce that, right? So, but without it embodied in law, we don't have the ability to
Yeah.
do that. So that's kind of what the goal of this is.
Okay, well, the enforcement certainly is, something's gotta be worked through.
Mr. Chairman,
Under, yeah, go
one
ahead.
recommendation is if we were to weigh the trucks, we have to have a setup that the scales are certifiable. Otherwise, these penalties will not stand in court. They'll
Right.
be challenged and would lose. So the setting for the scales got to be certifiable, pretty much similar to something that the state police would do on the highway.
Right. So we had 8 bridges in Gibraltar, okay, and the city owned all 8 of those bridges. And as I was leaving, they were in the process of getting portable scales and then training the officers to operate those so that we could write tickets on overweight vehicles. So, it's not impossible for a municipality to do it, the county does it. So it's something that, we'll have to look at, figuring out how best.
But
to-
everything starts with the ordinance.
Correct,
Right,
yeah. Without the law, there is no enforcement.
right.
Derek, can I throw something in there? I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
In reading this, there was something that, I thought we talked about this, and I apologize to you if I didn't bring this up. But if you notice on the second to last page on there, it does say, the first fine of any overweight is a municipal civil infraction. Municipal civil infractions can be paid right here at our cashier window, correct, Derek?
Yeah, I want to say that the violation and penalties that you're referring to are relevant to the other provisions, like the speed limits, the fishing from the the bridge, things of that sort.
Okay, not, oh, I thought that said, because the second one is a misdemeanor.
Right.
Which means it goes directly to the court.
Right.
Which means an officer has to write it, not an ordinance officer, or somebody that's just sworn in as an ordinance. See, you could have people at the bridge sworn in as
Right.
ordinance people for this ordinance, to be able to write the
Right.
ticket. So I don't mean to throw a monkey wrench into it, but,
I think the intent with those penalties those are associated with the items
That's only the
other
second-
than weight limits, yes.
the second part?
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
And the other, again, I'm sorry, but we gotta ask this question. Because it's a municipal civil infraction, it has to be viewed by the individual. The first one, if an officer comes, now you have to remember, they did travel on Grosse Hill property first, coming off the bridge, which committed that, say, violation. So when they're stopped, I know I'm getting kind of deep, but it's got to be a 93-day misdemeanor for an officer to be able to do it under probable cause and not under sight. In other words, all misdemeanors of 90 days have to be by sight. You see it. 93-day misdemeanors on the books can be written under probable cause. So you follow where I'm going with that. Now, I thought we talked to Kristen about when they're stopped in the city of Riverview, but they did commit the offense because they had to travel over the bridge. Does that make sense? So you're saying that those kind of offenses aren't the municipal civil infractions, they're the misdemeanor citations.
I think that there's different penalties for overweight vehicles as compared to.
That other group.
Exactly. yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, the penalties for overweight vehicles are more a monetary penalty.
Yes,
Whereas
it's
the
a fine.
other violations are civil infraction initially up to a misdemeanor for the second offense, yeah.
okay. Didn't me and you talk to Kristen about when I asked? See, now I don't.
About jurisdiction?
Yeah, about our jurisdiction.
Yeah, I don't recall
Okay.
what she had said about pulling them over in the city of Riverview or something
Well,
like that.
yeah, I asked.
Yeah.
I asked because, again, they'd be stopped at the plaza, but I know they had to go across Grosse Hill property under that violation because they're at the end of the bridge, not the beginning. Does that make sense? So, but and I know this is getting convoluted, but it means a lot when you go to court. That's all I'm telling you. If you don't have the right amount, the right jurisdiction, it's gone. It's over. The ordinance is not correct then. So, I'm not saying the ordinance is bad. I'm saying that's what can happen. So maybe I can make a phone call tomorrow if that's all right.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because when I
There's
read,
no rush on this, we want to get it right, so.
when I read the second part, I'm glad you just said that to me because it appeared when I was reading that the first offense to all of those are municipal civil infractions, and those can just be paid at our window here because it's a civil infraction ticket, not a misdemeanor. You can just walk up to the cashier. It's like a parking ticket or a dog ticket at large or something like that. You know what I mean? You can pay the fine right here at our cashier, so. All right,
So-
let me make that phone call.
Yeah, so let's, this is just a discussion item for tonight, so
Yeah.
we can
Okay.
do some more research, bring it back in June,
Yeah.
and then if you guys have any additional suggestions, questions, just let us know, and then we'll
Alright.
make sure it's perfect before
I
it
didn't mean to
goes.
throw a monkey wrench into
No,
it.
but it seems as written, we're probably 99% good. We just have to,
there, yeah.
how the police department enforces it, how we contribute to it, that evolves over time.
Yes.
There's a couple items that I think should be considered, and this would be in your first Article 2A. And one of them would be someone being abusive to the bridge operators. I don't see that in there. Or someone refusing to comply with directions given by a bridge operator. So the bridge operator says, you gotta turn around and go, you can't come through, and they say, I'm going through anyway,
Yeah, they call the police then.
It should be in the ordinance that they have to follow the direction of the operator.
Okay,
And they
that's a
can't
good
be
suggestion,
abusive,
Yeah, okay.
physically or verbally, yeah.
It physically is in there.
Yeah,
I was
especially,
gonna say
physically
physically.
is in there.
Physically
I
is in
see
there.
that.
Yeah.
The other thing I noticed under violation penalty C, under item number 2, I question whether we can put, and I ask you, Joe, at the end of it, we have the $500 fine or 90 days in jail. are we allowed to establish a
That's the
jail
judge and a
term?
misdemeanor. Yeah, no, up to, that's what you have to have in the ordinance all the time.
Yeah.
You have up to whatever it is, and if they go to court and are guilty of it, the judge then has the ability to read it and say, up to $1,000 fine and 2 years in jail. And
Yeah.
then the judge gives you what he wants.
That's why I
I
asked.
mean, we could put 10 years in jail here.
Well, you have to go
You know,
by.
it's gotta be enforceable.
But
Yeah.
no, it's got to go by the statute of Michigan for misdemeanors. That's what it has to go
Yeah.
by. You know, high misdemeanors are over a year. You can only get 93 days in the highest for normal misdemeanors. So that's
Okay.
why that says, what does it say, $500 fine? And
$500 and/or 90 days in jail.
yeah, so 90 days. And the 93-day misdemeanors, as I told you, was you can get up to 93 days in jail on those. So that's correct, though. That is
Yeah.
it.
That's when I asked customary and usual, that's when I read that, I'm thinking,
Yeah.
okay.
It seems to me the most powerful tool we have is that we deny them access to the bridge. So, and,
When they're
you know,
coming
rather
on in
than
the
running
first
to
place,
court
right.
and so forth, you violate the weight, you, you refuse to follow the instructions of the bridge operator, you're not
Yeah.
gonna use the bridge.
I mean,
And-
is there a way to put some language in there about a weight ticket? That they must have a valid weight ticket, which would show the weight, that could help us at least get a little closer to
Good idea.
Yeah, but,
enforcing it? I mean,
yeah,
Cause I envision like a gravel train going over that's, you know,
Yeah, I
a
mean,
60-ton.
you have the posted limits, and you have to, I think under the law, you have to have evidence that you comply with the posted limits, and that's not so much of an issue coming onto the island, because they check tickets when they come across before they permit them over the bridge. It's the issue of, you know, okay, they unload on the island and they come back and they're still overweight, that's where we gotta figure that out, but I think it's, I guess I don't know if it makes sense to put it, and maybe it does, but put it in the ordinance when the practice, I mean, they can't gain access without that.
Right, either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too late. I mean, once they're across the bridge onto the
Right.
mainland, it's too late, but then we could still assess the fine.
Right, yeah.
But see, for some of these things, I'd be more interested in just keeping them off the bridge. You know, you have a violation, you have a
Right.
second violation. I don't really want to go to
Or
court.
the-
I don't really want to try to enforce a fine. You're not allowed to use the bridge anymore. So I'd be kind of interested in looking more at that option.
I mean,
You can
with,
tie up a lot of personnel trying
mean,
to
there's,
chase
like,
down
with-
some of these.
you know, when the free bridge shuts down with backhoes on low boys coming across and some of this other larger equipment, that could be really an issue.
Yeah, and they have to,
Yeah.
they have to have a ticket when they come on if they're a
Yeah,
vehicle
it's
that's
gotta be.
multiple axles. Yep, I
Yeah,
think
and
that's a law at the state level. I don't think you're allowed to traverse any roads with a vehicle of that, gross vehicle weight or ability to be able to carry that type of weight without having a weight ticket. I think those weight ticket requirements are beyond Groseal Township ordinance, yeah, so.
Yeah,
They are.
Okay, it's a great start.
okay, very good.
All right, we'll bring it back for June.
I'll make some phone calls
Yep,
tomorrow.
and then-
I'll get that straightened out, because
Pat had those-
our
that
jurisdiction
suggestion.
issue is a big one.
So this will go up for recommendation, next month at the
Yes,
next
and then it
commission
would go to
meeting.
the board.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Very good.
Thanks.
Last thing I have on the agenda here for discussion is employee compensation.
It's in the house or something.
And I see this came through. Did this come to you, Derek? This Wallman?
It did. And Maureen can probably help me with this, but, I think you had brought this to my attention, right? Or maybe it was Frank? It was combination of you two.
It's a combination. Frank had brought it up, and I reopened it because we did not have any solution. And I was finding that there were some older employees that were currently with the old owner, and they have not. What's happening is the wage scale, we're hiring at 17, and they are, after 60 days, going up to 18. We have people that have been working there for 5 years that are at 1962. So there's not, all those years an experience that person particularly had. The new people are just encroaching very closely to them. and it was becoming verbally talked about.
So do you have a recommendation on the employees and what the wage rate would be, and then we can put it into do a forecast, or, kind of
So following
into the
the,
budget and see if it's
following the
containable?
packet coming out, I got a summary from Frank, based upon the current census and applying the suggested modifications that were provided to you, what the total annual cost would be for those changes. So I can provide that to you, and then we can review it once again in June for consideration.
I mean, if it's containable in the budget.
Yeah.
And it's if the employees are longer term, I don't see a reason why we shouldn't consider it.
Okay.
But again, we just need to make sure that it's containable.
So I will send that your direction so that you understand
that's
from a
fine.
budget standpoint what that all means. So you understand what that all means
Yeah, 'cause
financially.
I didn't understand the intent either, Chris, as far as, I looked at this as, is this a forecasting tool? And it sounds like it is a forecasting tool, but, for example, I don't know, do we have people with over 10 years on the bridge?
They are, and they are, I'd have to go back and look. Most of those ones are the supervisors that
Okay.
were approached on that, and they became a supervisor with an additional wage increase. And that's not who I'm speaking of. It's just, regular toll attendants, that the new people that are being hired in 60 days, they're getting, they're getting like $1 less than what somebody that has been there for over 5 years, So it's just, there's talk amongst the employees, and that's when I think it started.
Oh, I think it should be discussed, but
ago.
again, it's, is it containable in the budget? And
Yeah.
if it is, then, yeah, we should consider it, and look at the details.
Yep.
How many employees are we talking about? 4,
Uh,
5? How many?
3,
3.
yeah.
And what's roughly the thought on the wage increase?
Did you
$2
adjust
an hour?
anything? Because I gave you,
Yeah, I think that the overall impact for the balance of the fiscal year was like $12,000, I think, across the employees that were being suggested.
Oh,
So less than 1,000 a
But
month.
like I said, I'll send you all the detail on that, so.
Now, we have a contract with Wallman for paying people certain amounts, and we do that. The other thing to consider here too is, before we start saying this, is we will have a situation where the bridge closes. And then, of course, there's what happens to the people that are there? And will they come back or not? It's gonna be an individual choice that they'll all make. So it seems like.
Honor their seniority.
Yeah, and, so maybe there's some things we need to think about to encourage people to come back. But,
Does the
I-
con-
That's
I'm
a
sorry,
good,
I really
Patrick, that's a
didn't
good-
see a need to act on this wage structure here as presented, tonight.
Does the contract with Wallman, the time frame of it include the closure of the bridge? It's a 2-year contract, right?
I don't know. Was it
So
a
it's-
1
I
year?
think it's a one-year
It's a 1
contract,
year, yeah.
Which will expire at the end of this year, right?
December 31st.
Right,
Right about the
So we could-
time we could be,
I mean, we could be 12,
Stopping.
14, 16 months closed.
We'll know more once we start
I mean,
Yes.
looking at contractors
Yeah.
and
but
bids.
yeah.
so we need to look at that whole
Absolutely.
situation
There may be a
come the
need
end
for,
of the year,
there may be
before the end
a
of the
need
year.
for them to do some function during the construction. I don't know what, maybe not, but it's something that we should, to retain some key people and go from there.
Something to be discussed.
All right, yep.
Okay,
And,
thank you.
is there any thought, Chris, I mean, if someone was here like for 5 years, then they go away for the closure and come back, thoughts as far as, do you bring them back as a 5-year employee, or you bring them back as a 0-month
I mean,
employee?
you're talking about people making, how many, what's $22 an hour, $23 an hour?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not,
There's many ways we could encourage people to
Yeah.
come back,
Yeah.
so, and that could be one, there could be other ideas too. Yeah.
That's a good point.
We're on to, we're ready to move on, the manager report? Did you cover everything you wanted, or do you have anything else you want to add?
So we did lose 2 employees recently. yesterday, one just walked off. So we are, I guess he didn't like some of our policies and procedures, and he was spoken to and just kind of walked out the door, and we haven't heard from him since.
New employee, 5-year employee?
No new employee.
Okay.
So how does that work with Wallman? How do we communicate with Wallman in terms of an employee just walking away?
Well,
Or
we
do you
did-
notify him right away?
Yes, yes. You know, I was not there for the midnight issue, but I was there for the afternoon issue yesterday. This just happened yesterday. So the supervisor was there. I told him he needed to call, Frank immediately. And, he's already been interviewing someone today for the position to fill. The other one was a midnight person, and, we had an issue with him, and I called Frank. I saw the incident on the camera, told him I did not want that individual working for us any
Oh, the
longer.
mic, can you turn the mic on?
Go ahead. Can you hear me now? Did you turn it on?
I can hear you. I think it's the audience. All 6 of
Okay.
them.
Sorry, so I viewed the cameras, saw the incident. I called Frank myself and said, I wasn't this,
What was the incident?
Probably don't wanna get too.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
all right, I can imagine.
Yeah.
But that's one of the benefits of a subcontracted agency employment. You just make a phone call and they're
Yeah.
done, right? That's-
and so he wanted to talk to the supervisor. I said, fine, I go, but if there was any other incidents, I'm not budging on this, and so we did let him go.
Good, okay.
So staffing a little bit shaky right now, but we're handling it. We have plenty of coverage, and we actually, the midnight person, we've already hired someone. His first day is gonna be Friday evening. And then, we'll see. I know, the afternoon shift supervisor has a couple interviews set up for the rest of the week. So once we get those people back into place, we should be all ready to go. Besides the Bobcat, I've already told you that, Saturday, decided to take a rest on the middle of the bridge, so we're working on that,
A what?
especially. A rest,
Oh, no, what did?
the Bobcat.
The Bobcat.
Oh.
Yeah, the Bobcat took a rest.
I
It just
thought it
stopped
was
working.
an actual, I thought it was an actual,
It was the bear.
Yeah, I was just gonna
Okay,
say,
sorry,
it's the
I
bear
didn't-
in Flat
sorry.
Rock that you're thinking
been a
about
long
right
day.
now.
You meant to say Jaguar.
okay.
So, but
The
everything,
vehicle, right, okay.
everything's running smoothly.
So now that
you know.
we're in the more frequent bridge swinging phase, are we properly trained and everybody's up to speed on
Everybody was
how
up.
the proper procedures on what direction to open, how far to go, all the good stuff, so.
Yep,
we
we're
don't have
doing
to
well
call
on that.
These guys at 4 in the morning.
We are still waiting on a quote from the vendor for those sensors. They wanna make another site visit, which I think is either the end of this week, Friday, or the beginning of next.
Oh, I didn't get that info.
Yeah, I don't have the exact date, they were trying to still figure it out, but,
Okay,
they were looking at those dates. I'll let you know as soon as I find out, but we're still waiting on that quote, so hopefully you guys will see that in June.
so,
So it's still open on demand every top and bottom of the hour,
No.
right?
no, March 15th is when that changed. So that's only December 15th through March 15th. Well, wait a minute, are we talking
Like if a boat comes up and we need to open the bridge, a
commercial?
pleasure craft, right?
Okay,
Not
pleasure
a
craft
commercial,
is
right?
at the top and the bottom.
Top, they have to sit
Yes,
there
they
and wait.
have to call us and let us know that they have arrived. So it's actually 3 minutes to the top of the hour, 3 minutes after that we can open. Same with the bottom. So it's really not demand if they call and it's 5 minutes
Yeah, I
after
mean,
the noon.
demand at the top,
Yeah.
if they're there at the top and the bottom, we'll open, if not,
Yeah.
sorry, we don't
Yes,
open.
and then commercial or any kind of.
Any commercial traffic?
We got a barge, we get barges occasionally throughout the summer,
Oh,
but
okay.
any freighters, no.
The
we-
dock
We don't
guys,
see
the
those
dock-
any
the guys
longer.
that fix the
Yeah.
docks.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so now we have 2 more to train, but, both supervisors know, well, 3 supervisors know that they cannot make it over swing and then try to teach them how to pull it back, especially going, the
Were they
opposite
training
direction.
earlier this week or last week? Were they doing training in the evening?
No. No, we did have a
The horn
couple
blows
swings.
twice when it opens and once when it closes, right?
Yes, Yeah, so that was just regular swings.
Okay,
We have one gentleman that lives on the west side that he uses the bridge quite often. And, you know, everybody knows him. And so, you know, sometime, if it's a beautiful day, you guarantee he's going to be out there and he's going to be going back and forth.
sailboat,
So I don't know what type of boat, so,
just wondered. Because I can hear I can hear,
yeah.
now that I'm on the commission, I hear the horns blowing, I'm like, oh God, what,
Yeah.
did we get stuck or something going on? And
Yeah, but besides
Is there a
that,
jet,
you know,
is there
little,
a Bobcat in the middle of the bridge? So,
but besides that little glitch with the employees that we have to change, I think, you know, everything's going smoothly.
good, all right.
Okay?
Very good.
Right.
Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.
Thank you.
This is a section for public comment. Is there any public comment? There being none, we'll move on. Next item on the agenda would be a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Second, third.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.
Thank you, Chairman.